told you that already. I told you that already.
Yeah, well, the nurse here, she doesn't know whether the doctor will prescribe steroids. She said she's going to ask her to prescribe a steroid. And then she also told me to start taking my little square pills again.
I wrote it all down for you, what you need. That's what all those papers are. Ask for all of that. Everything on the list.
I have them all written down.
That's what you need. That's the kind you need. That's the kind of steroid you need. That's the kind of steroid you need. There's a reason for it. There's also some...
Well, she's working on that part of it.
Well, I don't care about nurses and stuff. Like, give her the list and tell her to ask for those things.
Yeah.
It's just the dosages. I don't know.
She's looking to get it from the doctor, and she said, I'm not sure if the doctor will prescribe steroids.
Well, they will, Dad. You're... Oh, holy fuck.
You have 6 months left to live, and they're worried you'll give me a steroid.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. This is regular and all... Who said that to you?
Who said what?
That they don't know if they'll give you steroids.
The nurse, Stephanie, the one that we met.
Okay, well... Ridiculous. This is standard palliative care. They give you the steroid. I have the name of it. I wrote it down for you. Get that paper out. And I believe it's called dexamethasone or something. Anyways, it'll give you energy. You should have been taking it already. And it's not a 3-week thing or whatever. For people who are going to cure themselves of cancer right away or have a big long life or whatever, okay, you don't want them getting it to you because it has side effects. Like it does things to you, right? So in the long run. But people are on those their whole entire lives. People who have MS take it forever. A lot of people do.
That's right. That's right. So I told her that the other doctors, even the specialist, he had given me a year and a half under good conditions and 6 months under bad conditions.
Actually, she said 5 months, but anyways.
He said he's being kind to you.
Yes, he was.
So it's under perfect conditions. So now why would I go and take chemotherapy? You know, make me sick all the time. I've only got 6 or 8 months left on my medicine.
Because it can, okay, there's a lot to this, and that's what, you know, like, that's what, this is why I feel like there's been a little bit of a miscommunication, or there's been, like, this is why I'm so, like, passionate, because I feel like you are not, but see, I don't want to take your hope and shit like that away. There's a lady who has pancreatic cancer, is looking at, she's been living with it for 20 years. She's literally been living with it. She literally has pancreatic, and she's had it for 20 freaking years. And she has lots of people that are like that. So it's a possibility, like it is, because she's like, she actually lives in Manitoba too, and she's a 20-year survivor. She's not someone who had just some mild thing. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she hasn't had any treatment that you haven't had. So, or would get or whatever. So it just depends on some things, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I've learned a lot about it, and I wrote it all down. I wrote it all down, what needs to be thought of and considered. But like so far, you're doing pretty good. But you can improve that. You can improve that.
The only thing is, now, talking to that Stephanie, it just gets you answers, but it doesn't get you the end result. Now, going down there, when I go down for that biopsy again, there's a technician, they don't know nothing. I asked them, I said,
Well, they don't, Dad. They're not cancer therapists. They're just technicians. Their job is like the people that pull out the screws on the maintenance line. They don't know about the product, and they don't know how it goes. So that's not them. No, they don't know shit.
they don't know shit. So the idea is that once they get the new biopsy, they'll look at it, because, you know how stupid they were. She says, I said, well, when you took a sample, they put it under a microscope, you must be able to tell whether it's a cancer.
They want to tell what kind of cancer it is. That's why.
I want to know what kind of cancer it is.
And the thing is probably what happened is a whole bunch of samples got lost. That's probably what happened.
Well, you know, it's funny how you should say that, because Mom and I thought the same thing. There's a mistake made in your...
They botched it all. Something got fucked up.
That's what I think. I think they made a mistake. I don't know who they know. But I think
They put the wrong chemical in them, or they had a trainee on, or something stupid like that. And
I think they either put the wrong chemical, or they had somebody new working on it who didn't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe a young
a trainee or something, yeah, it's possible.
something went wrong.
See, and they can't admit to that, because if they do, and then you have something go wrong in the meantime, then they're liable, right? Yeah, so they all stand up for each other too, so there's that.
Yeah. So you know you're trying to fight them.
Well, what are you going to do anyway? It won't change anything.
That's right. That's right. So at any rate, that's the whole all of that. So now I've got to wait until they call me back to set up an appointment. Either they'll send me a letter or they'll send me an appointment.
Now, what we were talking about here was the chemo. So
Yeah.
I had this all written down.
Right.
But
Today was a little bit of a rough day
well, emotionally you're talking.
because of that.
Emotionally or physically?
I'm sitting there waiting for information, and they're telling me we gotta do it all over again.
Yeah, it's driving you crazy. I get that, and that's the thing. Like that, this is the thing I'm trying to prevent the whole way through is all of these side things, so that you're not going mental. And this is why I talked to Brendan. And I said you get a hold of his oncologist like the week later, and he didn't do it. And I keep, I'm very frustrated because there are ways to go about things, and we're not utilizing our voices, and we're not utilizing our time properly, and so you're just spending it in limbo, and that's not fair.
If I tried to phone that doctor tomorrow, I wouldn't get through. They would say he'll call you back.
You say a lot of things that you don't know will happen, but I did. I got through. We were sitting together, and he called back at 3 o'clock. Oncologists have to do that because your patients are very scared, and they're very, it's life or death. It's different, like this isn't like mom who has a lifelong disease that lasts 400 years. It's different. So you will get that attention, but you're not acting like you want it. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that the people that are rallying for you, the people that you've got on your team doing the things and that you've delegated are not the people for the job. Sorry. And it just isn't, it's not effective. And that's what makes me sad because I can't understand this line of thinking. I don't get it. Because every problem that has occurred has been preventable through means that are easy to do. It's just you have to have the balls to do it, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Well, at any rate,
And a little bit of knowledge too. And I don't expect that you go rummaging around all this information because it's awful to go do that. It's not a good thing. Some of it's great. Some of it's like, wow, and then you find out a lot of shit that you're glad you know. But in some ways, I wish you were more invested in that because when I say something, then you would understand what I was talking about. But at the same time, it's daunting, and to sift through, you don't know where you're going. Fortunately, I've been kind of in the medical journals for a long time, so I kind of know how to navigate them. It's not an easy thing to do, but once you do, and you know what you're doing, it's not so hard. But, and to get the right lectures and the right people to hear what they have to say. But when they do talk, and they're specialists in these fields, and they have the knowledge and the experience, then that's stuff that it needs to be shared. Because it's not like a Lego block. It's not like everything just matches up and they all just do what the other one's doing. They don't do that. And Manitoba's very behind.
yeah.
So I don't know, like, I don't know why I'm even saying any of this because it doesn't matter. You won't change it, so.
Well, anyway, Sherry, bottom line is you were right in that respect.
Yeah, but I'm going to continue to be right and you're not changing it. So I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with that.
It was last week and the week before. It's a waiting game. We know
It's not a waiting game because you don't have time to wait. That's not right. I keep saying it's not right, and no one's hearing me. It's not fucking right. Do you understand that? It's not right.
that's right. Oh, well, I don't know. Like I say, it's not right, but we're going to have to make it right.
Do we? What? I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what that means.
Well, we got to make it right by waiting for them to...
It's not a waiting game, but we have to make it right by waiting. That makes no sense.
Well, sorry about that, but that's all I got. It's the best I can come up with at this hour.
What I've been telling you is I could have solved these problems before they happened.
I'm going to go, Sherry.
I know, but I'm telling you is I could have solved these problems before they occurred. I saw it coming, man, and I see more coming. So you need to put me in control, or I don't know, whatever, I don't know.
Anyway,
What is the hesitation? Why don't you want me on this like that? I don't get it.
that's not it at all, Sherry.
What is it? I need to know.
Don't make... We've already got Brendan working on it, and Stephanie...
What has Brendan done?
Going back and forth to the doctor.
Why are you making people who have nothing, they have 4 jobs and freaking so much responsibilities, why are you making people that have a lot to do the things that I have time to do?
Because, you don't have transportation, you don't have...
I don't need to transport myself over to these places, Dad. And Brendan doesn't even live here, so it doesn't make sense. I don't understand what the reasoning is. You're not telling me the truth somewhere.
Don't think it's anything personal.
Well, it's something. Something is...
It's the way I started going.
No, it's not. You started with me.
Is there anybody you want to...
You started with me. That's how it started, and then it stopped. And then you flipped it to Brendan. I don't understand that.
Yeah, because Brendan wanted to go down... he wanted to go down to the other biopsy. When he had the biopsy. He wanted to go and do that, so I let him do that. Didn't do him any good. He didn't get to talk to anybody anyway. So the point is, now, he's down there...
Again, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense.
Talking to the doctor now for a long time. But once we get this biopsy under the table, and then they'll make an appointment, and they'll say, come down, and we'll discuss the options. Before they set up chemo, they're going to have me come down here.
Why not discuss the options on all cases of whatever scenario? and then have a definitive plan no matter what happens? Why not do that first and get it out of the way?
I want to know what the score is before I.
No, I know, but when they say it's this, that, or the other thing, there's only so many options there can be. So why not have the conversation before then, and then you know what you're doing when they know? There's only 4 or 5 different options of what it is or what is going on or what's going to happen. So why don't you tell them what is up or whatever they say? If they say you can't, then you deal with that. If they say you can, then you deal with that. If they say it's this kind and this is what you're going to need, blah, blah, blah. And there's some stuff I'd like to talk to you about with chemo too, but I don't know if you even care, if you even listen to what I have to say. So I don't know.
I'm not prepared to listen to anybody yet. I'm just going to make this as easy as I can on myself.
You're making it harder on yourself, though. That's the problem.
Probably.
God, I don't know.
Make this just a cut.
Then I don't know. If it's something that you don't want to get into with me for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't. If it's not something you want to get into with me, I will go to your appointments. I will stand there like an idiot and just not say a fucking word and just whatever and just stand there because like whatever, just be there for support for you or whatever you want. And I will stop researching. I will stop.
When we talk to the doctor, the professional, when we have to talk to
Dad, I already know all the stuff.
as many questions as you want.
I already know everything. I already know. I already know. You're the one that doesn't know. I know. I know all the things that will happen. I know what will happen, but it's not my choice. It's your choice. It has nothing to do with me. That part, whether or not you go for chemo, that's up to you. But like at the end of the day, there's different options too for that, which you won't hear. You won't. You just won't. And there's a.
Well, I know. It's very, very, very frustrating, Sherry. And I'm more frustrated than you are to a point because it's happening to me.
Well, it's not that you're frustrated. It's that you're not.
Anyway,
It's that you.
okay, let's agree to disagree on that.
I don't know what we're disagreeing on. I don't know anything about this to you, and the way we communicate, I have no idea where you're coming from or what you're talking about. I don't know. This is what's hard because I don't understand you. I don't understand what this is. I don't understand any of it. Why is it that there's even any patience level at all in this?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
What do you mean you don't understand it? You're the one.
Sherry, okay. I'm tired. I don't want to fight with you anymore.
You understand though, since the day you got diagnosed, that's been the conversation, Sherry. I'm tired, I don't want to talk about it or whatever. Do you understand that?
I don't want to talk about it. And you have me wrong now. You're still going to be saying it changed.
You don't know what I have to say. The information that I have is very valuable to you.
I cannot change this whole.
The absolute truth of it. Listen to me. Listen to me. That's your choice. You're doing that because you're not listening to what I have to tell you. There is so much stuff that's going on in the world that not everybody is aware of and that I've spent freaking 40, 60, 80 hours looking into, investigating all this stuff, going through stuff. You have no idea what my day's been. And the thing of it is it's not just all flippy, floppy, hippy, dippy shit. This is real stuff. And there's stuff that can be done within the confines of even chemotherapy that they've found works better, specifically to pancreatic cancer. Does your oncologist know about this? Is there things that, why hasn't, when I asked the question about your immunotherapy, why was just a no, when they didn't even know, they haven't even taken blood from you or nothing. That should have been something that was answered. That wasn't answered. But you don't want to know, I guess. I don't know. Did you even know what immunotherapy is? Because it's a huge... Well, immunotherapy is where they use the T cells of your body and they attack the cancer cells. It only works for a percentage of people for a specific reason. If you have the markers for that, you will be cured. I don't understand why that is not something. It is true, Dad. It's 1,000%. It's already proved. It's proven. It's proven. It's not up for debate. It's freaking proven. No, it's not. This is from the medical journals of the Mayo Clinic and Harvard. This is standard shit. Immunotherapy should be tested for. I don't understand why I wasn't answered on that. It's not a probability. It's something that should be mandatory. It's something that it follows a pursuit of a certain thing. Like if you have, the biopsy that you're getting right now, that's a standard procedure. So is immunotherapy. So I don't know if you have the marker or if you don't. He just said no and ended it there and didn't go further with it. Why not? Tell me the reason behind why that's not happening. Well, it's very popular and it's super old. It's like not even new. It's not even a new thing at all. It's been standard procedure for a long time. Well, the fact is, Dad, you should know. You should know a lot more than you know. You also have probably a lot of listen, don't talk. Just listen. You also probably have an exorbitant amount of candida in your body, which is stopping you from absorbing your nutrients, and it's taking the fat out of your body, which is something that is very, very, very common, especially in pancreatic cancer. Plus, you also have the markers. When you were younger, especially whatever, you had dandruff. Dandruff contributes to that fungus. There's also the candida, which is also a potential reason why you can't hear. So there's a lot of stuff that goes together with that. Also, it also produces hiatus hernia. So those three things, and the fact that I know that those are things that you've had, are pretty inducive and tell me that maybe you might need something that will go in with antifungal, which you'll have to take anyways because chemotherapy causes fungus. And do you know that fungus is actually the reason why people die? Did you know that? The reason why they actually, and this is not even up for debate, go look it up, you'll find out. The fungus, it overproduces, and it is not necessarily the tumor that takes the life of the patient. It is moreover, I think they said something in their life, 95% when they find in there, it is the overgrowth of the fungus. That is what takes the life of the person. This is not mumbo jumbo. This is not some theory. It's literally like when they do an autopsy or they perform things to look inside. This is the findings. This is what they know. This is the truth of it. So it only makes sense to take things to make that not a problem so that it goes down. And plus, when you go on steroids or you go on chemotherapy, it does increase that. But you can't not take it. Plus, anything you eat, especially like Boost will create that fungus in your body. It does that. That's what it does. So there's a lot of stuff you have to do. But that fungus also has little legs, and it goes into your intestines, and it's a horribly difficult fungus to kill. It's very difficult to do that. And we have some naturally in our body anyway, but it overgrows. When we take antibiotics or anything like that, it overgrows. And then throughout our lives, it continues to grow. And so it's maybe perhaps not the cause. It could be, though. They don't know that for sure, because of course they would never admit it. But at the end of the day, in your intestines, it means that you cannot absorb the nutrients that are coming through the intestines. That's where you absorb your food. That's where you absorb your vitamins. So it doesn't matter how many vitamins you take. It doesn't matter how much food you eat. You can't absorb it. That's what happens to people. There's things that people can do to eliminate these symptoms. It will not particularly be 1,000% effective on a lifespan, necessarily for like maybe span for sure. It may not save your entire life, but these are measures that people can take and things that are available to people so that these things are not as progressive and they can help in reducing. Plus, cancer cells thrive in those conditions. When you understand what a cancer cell is, what it thrives, also what it enjoys, what it multiplies with, and all of these other things, the membranes that go around, all of the things that make it up for what it is, and you understand these things about it, then you understand how to prevent things from happening, and it works. It's not testimony. I'm talking about doctors speaking. I'm talking about scientists talking. I'm not talking about people in their blah, blah, blahs and their dumb ideas. I'm talking about literal things that occur, like biological results of things that are a reality that goes on. These are standard things that as a cancer patient, you should be aware of and know. And someone should talk to you about it. But I guess they don't want to scare people or they want to talk. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe you just don't ask enough questions. Maybe they just don't want to do that. Maybe there's some kind of weird psychological thing that goes along with it. I have no idea. Because, whatever. But you could have trusted them if you... You're the weird thing about this is that you should... No, listen to me, is right now that you should have hope that there's more of a chance to live a better quality of life and a longer situation. You should be actually amped up after talking with me about these things because there are actual things that you can do to stop and prevent certain aspects of this becoming detrimental or emergent. It is over, but it's not over because you have to spend the rest of the time here. And in this time, you can make this better and you can even stretch it out. But if you want to collapse and turn into, do the poor me thing, that's okay. You have the right to do that. Go ahead. But at the same time, it's like I hear this defeat in your voice, which is absolutely understandable. But I don't understand why the things I say to you, you think I'm talking out my ass. You don't trust me. That's what it is. You don't think I'm intelligent enough to come up with these solutions. That I'm somehow off in left field. You haven't talked to anybody about any solutions. You have not talked to anyone about any solutions. You have not even inquired. And what doctor have you even spoken to? None. No, Dad, it's not a thought. You should be lifted after these conversations. You should be lifted, not listening, lifted. You should be excited about stuff. You should see that there's a very good situation, that there's things that can help you. Because they're going to end up doing half of this stuff anyways, but it'll be later instead of now. You don't even need to take chemo if you don't want to. No one's going to force you to do it. But the thing is that it will help on many fronts. And you may not experience all these bad things. You don't know. You don't know. And there's also a lot of research that says taking lower doses for longer periods of time actually do shrink, they literally shrink, the tumor size. So there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of stuff that is very, very pertinent to understand and to bring to the oncologist and to say, but we should have been talking about this a long fucking time ago. Because it's not over, and you know, if you think, I don't mean to be an asshole, because if you think it can't get worse, you're wrong. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to prevent a lot of stuff that can go wrong, and a lot of stuff that can be really not cool, all right? And I'm not even going to get into all that, but dear, you need to start listening to me and start having a little bit more optimism about it, because there are things that are very, very, very effective. I would have been doing that already. I would have been doing that already. I would have been doing that already. I would have been doing that already, and I asked my brother to do it too, and he's done nothing. Because you took me off. I can't do these things. They won't give me information. They won't tell me nothing. You signed his name on it. You twisted my... You totally... You fucked it all up.
Yeah, well, I can't give your information to absolutely everybody. You know, I mean, you don't give out information to everybody.
Okay, whatever, Dad. You know, that's fine. It's fine. Obviously, this isn't going to make any sense. I'm just going to stand there like a fucking idiot. That's what I'm going to do. Because that's what everybody thinks of me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to act like a fucking tool from this point on. I don't have an opinion. I don't know shit. That's what I'm going to act like. Because that's what you all expect. I will just be the dummy that everyone is obviously thinking that I already am, and that I have no idea, no appeal. I will not write anything out. I will not do any of this anymore. I won't, because it's not well received, and in fact, it's actually dismissed with such a... Oh, I have to, because if I don't, I'm going to go insane. I said if I don't let it go, I'm going insane. I have to let it go. But I'm going to tell you something. The care that you're going to get is not the care that you will need, nor is it... Oh, whatever, do your thing. Yeah. I don't need to know. You don't need to tell me anything about it. We can talk about the sunshine and the weather, because honestly, that's all that there is after this. I will go with you to your appointments, and I will stand there and support. But I don't need to know all the info, because there's nothing I can say back to you. There's no reciprocation. There's nothing. So I will be there for you physically and emotionally. I will be your person. But I have nothing to contribute, obviously. So we don't need to talk about all of the doctor stuff. Talk to me about something else. I don't need to know if they're calling you back or they're not, because there's nothing I can do about it. I love you too, and stop being so... Whoa. Wow. You know, you would not accept this behavior from me. You would not. You would not. If the roles were reversed, you would not accept this from me. I know that you're going to like be all upset and cry right now, but right now is not the time for crying. Right now is the time for being angry. Right now is the time for being, you know, proactive and focused on things and looking for options and hope and stuff like that. Because if you don't, if people just gave up all the way around, they would never find advancements, they would never do anything, they would never be any kind of pinnacle for the people that came before them or after them. This is a very new technology. There's lots of things that they're trying. You don't know what you don't know until you know. There's so much room for hope here, it's ridiculous. So much room for hope. So much. So very much. No, I said there's so much room for hope, it's ridiculous. Yes, there is that. Dad, I'm not saying at this point there's stuff that literally there is. There's lots of stuff. I've told you. If you did the Dr. Wu whatever, that guy, Dr. something, the Japanese dude or whatever, if you did his treatment, I guarantee you, I'd fucking put money on it. I'd bet you $1 million you'd get another 12 years of life. I guarantee it. You don't even know. How can you doubt it? You don't even know that cancer is alive. 92. You'd only be 92. But, you know, there's this guy and his treatments, I get why they work, and they do. And it's not just a dog thing, it's like people stuff. You asked if there was a human version. I found it. I found the guy. I found the treatments, and you won't even do that either. Well, you should at least look into it. It's all on your link on your Facebook. I sent it all to you.
Sherry, I don't have the wherefores to go and spend hours like you did on the internet.
You don't have the wherefores to save your own fucking life. You don't have that.
No, I don't. I guess I don't.
That's crazy. You're crazy. It's not you talking. If it was me and it was the other way around, you would grab me by the hair and throw me against the wall. This is awful.
You're right, I would, but it's not. It's me, not you. So.
Well, whatever.
You're young. You have life ahead of you.
Do I? Yeah? Is that what it is? You know, it'd be nice to have you around for it. It would be nice for you to be there.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
You need to get proactive and stop this poor me shit. Honestly, it's enough. I know, and you have every right to it, but enough with that. Start looking towards things that are positive, because everything I've told you, everything that's come out of my mouth, regardless of the tone, has been literally optimistic and the most amazing shit ever. And it is not all placated and bullshit and based in fantasy land. It is not. I love you too. Go to bed. Stop crying. That's enough. That's enough. No more of that. Go be proactive and look into something. And you need to move around too. Make sure you're exercising every day. Well, that's your depression talking. That's the cancer talking. You need to make that little guy in your head, tell him to pack his bags and send him home. Because his visit is over now.
Anyway, I'm going to bed.
Okay, I love you. Good night.
Good night.
So have you ever just felt so defeated because you started off with some momentum and you're sick yourself and you don't have a lot, going on in terms of pulling it out your ass, but you did. And you had the energy for it and you got it organized and you did it because if it was the last damn thing on earth you were going to do this and you were going to do it right and you were going to get results. Because far be it from you to let anything come in between his care and his health and his longevity and his quality and those montages that I had pictured in my brain about that movie type scenario when you're losing someone and those nice moments, those hard but bittersweet moments that you're glad at the end that you had. And to be able to prove to them that you love them and you're pushing for them and you're moving mountains for them and you do it because I would have done it. I can't do a lot for myself, but I am really good with other people, doing things for them and getting the things that they need. As soon as it's like about somebody else, it's all good. And this was the somebody else. This is the somebody else. So all those personal feelings aside, he's not taking his care into his hands. My mother is not. My brother is not. My daughters are good, but they lack. It's almost like they're curious about the end and just want to be the person for that. And that's fine if they're ready for it. Maybe it's easier for them, but I can't let them go so easy. And this isn't false hope, though. That's the thing. It's not false hope. It's not dwelling on its false aspect. This is real medicine and real doctors and real treatments. They're just not mainstream at the moment. But I know a lot about candida. I know a lot about what fungus and I didn't know a lot about parasites, but I do now. And when you put them all together, and that's what they're doing to make cancer happen, to make a tumor, that's what they do in something, in an animal. So doesn't that tell you what causes it and how to get rid of it? I mean, come on, man. The truth of the matter is the first treatment that I was talking about with him, it was for an animal. Okay, so I found doctors, lots of them, but one in particular who was incredibly boring, but super, super good at his job. And he got into research, and he found that if you do an antiparasitic, an antibacterial, or antibiotic, and an antifungal together in the right aggressive doses, and deal with your teeth, and your diet can, follow after, I guess. It wasn't really a main staple of what he was talking about. I would probably eliminate sugar because that would help, but anyway, or, just simple carbohydrates might be a good idea just to get rid of. But that's not the worry at the moment. The thing is that it works, and it's cheap as borscht, and it's easy to get, and it doesn't have side effects, so why the fuck would you not take it? You're putting your faith into these people who ignore you and don't know you. I keep thinking to myself, and his son, he's not doing anything for him at all. Like, he's not. The things that I ask him to do, he doesn't do. I'm appalled and disgusted at the entire situation. But more so because of the reception of anything. And so then I talk about medication to just make him comfortable. Look, if he's not going to do this, let's go another direction. So I find out all this stuff, and I find out the magic components that you take all together, not one at a time, not in little dose here, little dose there, but all together. And that's your magic wand. And he phones the nurse, and he hasn't talked to anybody else, ever. He phones the nurse, and she's like, I'm not sure if he'll do that, and then doesn't prescribe an antifungal with his steroid medication, which he needs. So I phone my brother, and I tell him that. And he doesn't say anything. And this is what's going on. And the fungus is the thing that kills people. That's the thing that kills people. Look into it. Go and ask. Go and ask. You'll see. It gets into the tumor. And it just gets overrun. And then people just die. It's not even the cancer that kills them. It's the fucking fungus. And when your body breaks down and you can't fight that anymore because it's weak, that's what happens. But it's not the cancer. It's the fucking fungus. So at least take that. I said all those things together. There was 5 things. Get rid of all of the medication you're on now. Go on this instead. You will feel more energy, and you will have... But you have to do it all together. I wrote that down. They don't care. They don't listen. They think I'm stupid. He could be doing things, and his mind be good, and he could have energy, and he could want to eat right now. But he fights me on everything. Why? I'm defeated, and I'm angry. And I'm trying not to be that person around him. Because I want to have a minute with him that isn't like this. But if I trade in the time that I'm with him or talk to him for a nice time, then I don't get a message across, and then there's really no hope. So I'm stuck, and I don't know what to do. Because sometimes it takes a minute to get through to people. Because they're just depressed, or the cancer is making it difficult for him to think clearly. Because it's like... it screws with everything. Of course he's upset, and of course he's defeated, and of course he has all these emotions, and I'd love to be understanding to all of that, but I can't because everyone else is. So I gotta take this role. I gotta take this role. But it's making me hurt, so maybe I have to stop. You just watch him waste away and go more painfully than he has to. How can I do that?